on the potato rosti thing that I made, that's definitely a term. I had a thought, and I'm going to do the actual roast potato a little bit thicker this time, and I'm only going to do a top and a bottom to it. So I'm going to, well, we're going to see, I've got about a kilo of potato, which I've already squeezed the water out of. I've got some about a kilo of onions, I've got some red and some white ones, that's fine. I've got chorizo from the fridge, which is one that I made. Don't know how much that weighs. How much does that weigh? There's about 170 grams worth of chorizo there, and then we've got some cheap cheese. So the cheap hard Italian cheese, some cheap red Leicester cheese, and the cheap Greek style salad cheese. I think that's all I'm going to put in, unless I can find some kind of leftovers kind of all together. So I'm going to fry off the chorizo, and then I'll use that oil to cook the onions, and that's going to be, and the cheese are primarily going to be the filling in the potatoes. And I think I made too much last time, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do one rosti, and then I'm going to cut that in half and use kind of that. But you'll see when I'm kind of getting there. So I'll start on and cut some things up and slice some things and do some frying, and then we'll be kind of at that stage where we can kind of see what we're kind of doing. Yes, I'm going to use a bit of olive oil to fry off the potato. I think that's it. I might be tempted to put some butter in the potato, but I don't think so. I don't think I've got any in the house. I have, but it's like a flavoured butter. It's not very nice. But although that might be kind of quite nice. Maybe. We'll see. I might use it up. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll do some stuff, and we're back when things are cooking. Ooh. Onions are, well, I've cooked up the chorizo, sliced it and cooked it, and then using the oil that came out of the chorizo to cook those onions. So we'll cook those down slowly. I'm not in a rush to kind of cook those. Just keep moving them around, take on all that lovely flavour of the chorizo. And then you'll be able to see, so it's thicker than I did last time, intentionally, so it's kind of quite thick, so it'll hold together better. I'm still not going to flip it over like that. I'm going to put oh, I have to turn that off. Put that out of the way, and then jumping board minus the bits on it, on top of the potatoes, and then flip it over and then have a look at it. So, okay, that's alright. So you get the idea, and then just smack into there like that. Onions back on. I just need to press it down to that. Prepared as always. A bit more oil. I did have some oil somewhere, just for the potatoes. And then, so you just need to press it down, because otherwise those bits of potatoes that were sticking up, they'll cook, and the rest of the potato rosti won't. So you just need to press it down so it's all flat. But my idea is, because I made so much and I was eating for 3 days last time, which wasn't a problem, it was just that it was just 3 days. So I think this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that in half, and then just kind of use that as the top and that as the bottom type of thing, and then put the filling in and not kind of layers. So those are my thoughts. So that'll carry on cooking. Those will carry on cooking slowly, driving off loads of that moisture. So we're just left with, onions might start to caramelise as well, which might be a good thing. But that's that. Turn that down, and we're back. We'll put things together, I think, and then we'll bake it in the oven. Right, so yes, keep running out of space on my phone. So that's cooking. We're going to need to crisp on the other side and make sure that the potato in the centre, it's a little bit thicker this time, so we need to make sure the potato is cooked in the centre, and then those onions are cooking down slowly with the chorizo, so it's kind of quite nice. Quick taste. Maybe a bit of salt. Yeah, we add a bit of salt now, and then we can always add a bit more salt a bit later on. That's fine, that's all lovely, 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 lovely. There we go. So, onions are cooked down. I've cooked them quite a lot, so they're going kind of quite caramelised. So my thoughts are, what I'll do is, I'm going to do it in layers. I think so. I don't want, right, okay, I've decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little bit of this onion on, and the chorizo mixture, just so it goes into the gaps in the potato. And then I'm going to put a layer of red cheese on, and then the red cheese doesn't melt into the gaps. I don't want that. I kind of want it to ooze out of this. Winging it as always. So I was actually thinking as well, while I was swimming, that you could use the potato Rosti base as a pizza base. I thought that'd be kind of quite nice. So you could make that, and you could bake that in the oven like pizza. Instead of doing the whole kind of, oh, I need the lights on. Instead of doing like the whole that god awful cauliflower pizza that everyone was kind of using cauliflower as a base for pizza, which was just seems like a terrible idea. But fried potato, that'd be a great idea for pizza base, wouldn't it? So that's about 100 grams worth of cheese. This is going to be a bit of a cheese overload, if I'm honest. So there's about 100 grams of grated red cheese, and then let's do it this way. And I've got the other half of this, so we'll just do the same as, you'll see what I'm doing. I just don't want the cheese to melt into all those little gaps in between the potato. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And if the onion's already in there, then the cheese won't be able to get into the gaps. That's that. That's that. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Dot those around a bit better. Then I know I've got that much onion left. So do this onion in half. So dot that about a bit. Like that. So the other half of the onion. Like that. And I've got 150 grams of feta, or whatever size it comes in. I can't remember. Is it 120 grams or is it 100 grams? Maybe it's 150 grams. And then plenty of feta. It's just what I've got left over. I don't like waste. You can use something in something, all the better. But the onions are kind of quite sweet, and the cheap feta is kind of quite sharp, so it might just compensate. That's a lot of cheese. Probably a little bit too much cheese, but we'll see how it turns out. And then more onion on top with the chorizo. See, as you can imagine, that almost looks like a pizza, doesn't it? Not that far off looking like a pizza. All that there, then that there. Cheese fingers, and then the other 100 grams of cheese on top. And that way. That press down a little bit, and we'll see how this turns out. And then that on top of there. I've purposely chosen the less cooked side of the potato rosti to go to the top because it's going to crisp up in the oven. So that's that. So we'll put that in the hot oven. What we at? 180 degrees, fan oven, until it's all nice and melted and all cooked all the way through. And we'll see how it turns out. Let's have a look. Nice and gooey, nice and melting. Nice and crispy. I'll cut a portion and then I'll move the camera, I think, so we can get a better look. Maybe it's better off on the board. That's ridiculous, is that? Absolutely ridiculous. Maybe turn the oven off. Then, yeah, so if you don't want to make one big one, you can cut it in half and make it that way. That's ridiculous, is that? Get that on a plate and then we'll have a better look. I'll pause the camera and have a look. I think, because the camera always wants to fall over. Always falls over. There we go, that is absolutely ridiculous, a proper cheese feast. Let's have a look. It's going to taste nice, isn't it? It's cheese and onions and chorizo. That's really good as that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's practically just cheese, really. But I think you could do a vegetable version. Maybe something like a ratatouille kind of version with a little bit of cheese. That would probably work. I might do that sometime in the future. But that's delicious. That works, and it works with just the 2 layers of potato. And if you don't want to make a whole, you could just do one and cut it in half, just like I did in a smaller frying pan. So that's really nice. That works. I will write down the recipe in the description, and then there'll be variations on it. But it's one of those things that you've got anything you want in it, you know, or even make it like a pizza. Making it like a pizza would be nice. There we go. That's a trash.